teachers. Welcome to our first vlog. We're going to be thinking about collaborative studies that I shared about not too long ago on my blog. There are several blog posts about that. But today, we're going to be taking a look behind the scenes and looking into my plans for this year's first collaborative study. Now, if you attended the Simply Coaching Summit of 2021, then you had access to my session on the secret to re-energizing PLCs. If you did not register for that, you have an opportunity to still do that now, and it's super simple. All you have to do is go to the website that I have listed below. You can sign up, register for that, and you'll have access to my presentation and so many more for up to 90 days. Now that's starting from July 12th, so you'll have until October to register and have access to all of the sessions where you'll get gobs of great information. Now my session is all about the secret to re-energizing PLCs. And I know that you probably have interest in that because who doesn't want to know more about PLCs, and who doesn't want to have energy in your PLCs or build them from the ground up, right? And you may be thinking, okay, give me the practical steps. I'm going to, but there is a deeper secret at hand here. And I'm going to share with you that secret that I shared in this presentation briefly in this vlog. And it is to build a culture of collaboration. In order to re-energize PLCs, in order for them to be what you believe they could and should be, and to bring them to life in the vision you have to first build a culture of collaboration. Let's talk a little bit about that before I move on to giving you my plan for implementing collaborative studies, which is the practical way that you're going to start building this culture of collaboration. Why do you need to build it? Why doesn't it exist on its own? Because it doesn't. It does not exist on its own. In fact, a lot of your teachers or educators are coming into meetings and you may be thinking that they're collaborating because they're sitting together, they're sharing ideas, they're asking questions maybe. But this is not the root of true collaboration, because true collaboration is completely voluntary. And true collaboration means that all of the people on your team are addressing a goal, and they're addressing it in really critical, crucial ways. It provides mastery experiences. So if you want to build a culture of collaboration, you're going to be providing mastery experiences for teachers so that collaboration does exist. They have to have opportunities where success is realized, because for the most part, we are developing students and teachers who don't understand what it means to be vulnerable and to collaborate together with that vulnerability that makes success possible. And then finally, you need a culture of collaboration because it's the foundation for collective efficacy. Everything that I have just listed promotes collective efficacy. And the only way to understand or realize collective efficacy is for you to have teachers successfully collaborating together. But again, they have to know what that looks like, they have to know what it feels like, and they have to be able to come together feeling as though they're a part of something bigger than themselves. That's what true collaboration is all about. And if you have a culture of it, you are on the path to a successful future for your organization where collective efficacy is in fact realized. And you're going to see amazing results. You're here today because you want to know what's the plan for this collaborative study. Because collaborative studies is one way, just one way, that you can provide those mastery experiences for collaboration. And here's all that collaborative studies are. They are strategically organized opportunities for meaningful collaboration. We're moving beyond the, I'm coming to the meeting, I'm bringing my data, I'm bringing my plans, let's talk about ideas, let's go back. This is far beyond that. This is so strategic and so meaningful that your teachers are gaining those mastery experiences and they want to be part of that collaboration. And what school doesn't want that? Like, who does not dream of that? What instructional leader doesn't sit back and reflect and dream of this being what people say your organization is? If you attended the Simply Coaching Summit, you heard me share about 4 super practical steps for launching collaborative studies. I'm going to take you through those 4 steps briefly. And if you want to know more information about these, no worries. It is all on my website, catchingupwithkc.com. You can see blog posts for each of these topics, and there's also a blog post for additional materials that you may need. And also, I'm coming at you continuously within the next several weeks with more information and practical tips and resources for you to implement your own collaborative studies successfully. So if you're not sure after this session what I mean by each of these 4 things, no worries. Either go to my website and look at all of the blogs, or even better, register at the Simply Coaching Summit 2021 so you have access to this and more for the next 90 days. Okay, so here are those steps. Number 1, you want to develop a list of possible study topics because you are bringing people together to learn about or study something. Here's the kicker though, you are not coming at it as the instructional leader, as the expert. Because we want this to be true collaboration, everyone is coming with the same level of knowledge or expertise, and they are coming with that understanding that they will learn from each other. Therefore, you are not going to be the expert in this. You may itch to want to be the expert and to share all of your knowledge and ideas. This is not the place for that. Save that for your presentations and your PD sessions. So develop a list of possible study topics that your teachers may be interested in. Now, this seems like a super easy step, and it can be because that list of possible topics is actually endless. It goes on and on and on. There are so many different things that we could study. The hard part about it, though, is identifying what is best for your campus and meets your teachers' needs. If you can identify that, and I share some ways on my website that you can do that. If you can identify that, then you're ready to move on to step 2, which is sending out invitations and building interest about your first collaborative study. When you send your invitations, your teachers are going to want to know, what is this all about? Like, am I coming to this study to just get all of this information that this person's telling me? Am I coming to the study as one more thing that I have to put on my to-do list? Am I coming to the study because my principal's expecting me to? Do I have to? No. The answer is no. You're coming to this study optionally. So your teachers know this is completely optional. Here's what we're going to be studying. I'm going to expect you to bring some of your knowledge and questions. We're going to rumble with that together, and then we're going to go out and try some things and see what works and what doesn't work. That's one of the ways that you're going to build interest. You want to be real with them. You want to be at their knowledge level. We want to equalize that playing field. And then finally, once you have sent out invitations, you've built interest, you've talked to teachers one-on-one about signing up, then you're going to actually get them signed up. You'll send out a Google form, you'll get them signed up, you'll go through your list, you'll send it again so they have a second opportunity to sign up, and then you'll be ready to get started. And when you get started with your collaborative studies, this is where you're going to meet them at the door. You're going to greet them with a smile, some candy, a little gift, something. And then you're going to keep them by keeping them so engaged in that first event that they want to come back for more, and that they're spreading the word to other people that collaborative studies is where it's at. So these are the 4 steps to actually launching the collaborative study. Every collaborative study will follow these set of steps. But even once you get through all of these steps, you still have to actually plan what those collaborative studies are going to look like. And this is what was not in the Simply Coaching Summit session. If I had included how I planned my first collaborative study or any collaborative study in that session, it would have gone on and on and on, because collaborative studies is a really big topic. Like, it's a big idea to wrap your mind around, because you have to think about the logistics. My hope and goal is that over the next few weeks, as I take you behind the scenes of collaborative studies, I'm painting a picture of what it looks like in practice. So here is what you're going to want to do to really get started with your collaborative studies. You're going to make a plan. I'm going to share with you what my plan is for implementing my first collaborative study, or how I'm going to get started. But what I want you to keep in mind is that collaborative studies are beautiful in that they can be whatever you want them to be, and whatever fits your needs and the needs of your teachers. So whatever you come up with, what you're going to do is send it to me and share your wins. And we're going to collaborate together and think about all the different ways collaborative studies can be made great for the people that you are empowering. Because we want to build this culture, we want to build collective efficacy because of it. Okay, so here's how I make a plan for the first collaborative study. Generally, what I like to do is take out my calendar. My collaborative studies this year will take place 4 times. I will have one collaborative study for every 9 weeks, and we have 4 9 weeks. That means I'll have 4 collaborative studies. Within those collaborative studies, it's going to be, because it is 9 weeks, there are some specific things that are going to be taking place along the way. The reason I want it to be across 9 weeks is so that it's not so overwhelming, that it's not so quick that it's just a one and done kind of thing that teachers forget about, but instead that it's this period of time where people are pouring into this topic, and they're pouring into it together, and they're given multiple opportunities to either partner together or partner with me to investigate strategies and tools related to the topic. So what I like to do is create a calendar of events across that 9 weeks from beginning to end. You'll notice that there are several arrows here. If it has an arrow beside it, it's something that I'm going to include on my plan every single collaborative study. So for every single collaborative study, I will include a PDNA blank. This idea comes from the Coaching Sketch Notebook by Stephanie Affinito. I have that linked down below. You'll notice, and it's also in this blog linked. This is a fantastic way to build interest in collaborative studies. The idea is that you have PD in a cup, PD on a bookmark, PD in a tent. It could be PD in anything, any way to get information or professional development into the teacher's hands. So this is one thing that I'm going to include in every collaborative study on my planner. Another thing that I will include on my planner for every collaborative study is interest building and invitations. Now remember, if you're thinking about collaborative studies, you are doing so intentionally. You're doing so in ways that empower teachers, and you're doing it in ways that are organically invitational, right? So this is completely optional for teachers, so it has to be founded on those things. But I do want to include these things on my calendar so I don't forget about it, so that I remember, yes, interest building is important, and sending out invitations strategically is important. At the bottom, I have the other 2 things that will always be included on my planner for collaborative studies, and that's check-ins and feedback surveys. It is fairly obvious that you are going to check in with teachers regularly as you are doing this collaborative study, but it helps me because my calendar can get a little bit overwhelming and chaotic. It helps me to include that on my calendar, maybe a Monday and a Friday, and I include in my Google Calendar description the people that I want to check in with. It might be an email if I'm really rushed, but I absolutely want to try to make it personable and face-to-face. So I might just hop into their room during their conference time, or in the morning or in the afternoon, and say, hey, Tell me about how things are going with whatever our study topic is. And then we get to have a brief conversation. I'm bringing it to their attention. I'm kind of giving myself some insight into what's going on in their classroom. And then maybe a coaching cycle will be produced because of it. The other thing that I like to include are feedback surveys. So at the end of the collaborative study, a feedback survey is provided so that at the next collaborative study, I'll know what adjustments to make to meet the needs of teachers. I want to dig into the other three things just very lightly, because in the next few sessions, in the next few vlogs, I'm going to be sharing in depth about face-to-face sessions, forum postings, and challenges or choice boards. Face-to-face sessions are pretty much what that means. It's face-to-face. I only will have a few of these during a collaborative study, and those face-to-face sessions are usually at the beginning, maybe the middle, and definitely at the end, where we can come together and we can have a deep dive or an open discussion about the topic at hand. Then I like to have forum postings. Now, this could look different for different organizations, but in my school, a lot of people use Facebook, a lot of people use Twitter or Instagram, but we also have Microsoft products. And so we try to push our teachers to use Microsoft Teams when they're meeting, OneNote when they're collecting data. And so one of the things that I'm trying to do this year is use a SharePoint site. And this will be the hub for all of our collaborative studies with an open forum so that they can go in and post questions, ideas, thoughts, pictures, videos as we study this topic together. I'm super excited about that. I can't wait in the future to share more about that with you. And then the other thing that I'm hoping to do, and I have done a little bit of this in the past, but I really want to latch onto it this year, are challenges or choice boards. Challenges are going to be those basically challenges that I provide to teachers along the way as we're studying. So if someone's decided to join a collaborative study, we know that this is the topic we're studying. We've already had a face-to-face session. Maybe someone comes up with an idea of something they could try. I'm going to push that challenge out to all of the members of the study. And they're going to try it out if they want to. They don't have to try it out, but it's a challenge that I can provide to them so that they are engaged in this topic of study. And then the other idea is choice boards. Now, a lot of you have probably seen PD choice boards before for teachers, and you definitely may have seen choice boards for students, and it's very much like that. You give them a board of choices of things that they could try out. People are trying different things at different times, and that's okay. And when you come together and you're posting on that forum, or you're coming together in a face-to-face session, you're sharing about the things that you all have tried. I want to encourage you as the instructional leader to also have tried these things as well. If you do not have a classroom to go into as a regular place, find it. Find that teacher that's going to let you come in and practice and try things so that you can be in this collaborative study alongside your teachers. Okay, so I've shared all about the things that you could include on your calendar when you're planning your first collaborative study. Here's what my planner will include for my first collaborative study. So I'm starting in August. Here's the hard part about that. Students come back August 16th. I'm not going to start a collaborative study the week that kids come back. I wouldn't ever do that to my teachers. But you know what? I could start to build interest. And here's where the topic matters. Our first topic is all about classroom management strategies and PBIS. So that makes it a little bit easier to introduce in the first weeks of school because that's what their mind is most likely going to be on, classroom management strategies. The first thing I'm going to do is host a PD in a blank. I want to go all out this year for my first collaborative study because I want people to buy in, to be interested, and I want them to come back. So I'm planning to do a PD on stage. My PD on stage is literally going to be materials and ideas and posters on the stage in our cafeterias so that when teachers drop off their students, they have a place to go up, take a look at some PD materials, maybe grab some things to take with them, and then I'll be ready to start truly building interest in the collaborative study and send invitations. Here's what's important about providing PD in the beginning. I'm providing PD, but I'm not necessarily presenting. I'm just providing resources, right? So it's something it could be an article if they want to go look at, a video, a link. It could be anything. It could be a book. Maybe they choose a book. What's important about it, though, is that I'm providing that to every single person, regardless of whether they sign up or not. Because remember, the collaborative study is completely optional. It's invitational. But if I give that information to everyone, just think about what can happen as the members of the collaborative study are working and they say, hey, you remember that PD on stage that Casey did? If you take a look at these materials, you can come see what I'm doing in my classroom. It's really working well. So it has that filter effect, that multiplier effect, so that you're bringing more people in to possible future collaborative studies. So August PD on stage for me, or PD in a blank. I'm going to build interest and I'm going to send invitations. Now, it could be that some of that kind of trickles over into September, and that's okay. In September, I'm going to have my first face-to-face session. So I've gotten people signed up. They've said that they want to join the collaborative study. I've told them what all it's going to entail. We're going to have a face-to-face session. And for us, this first face-to-face session is simply going to be a brain dump. And we're going to dump out all of the questions, all of the ideas, all of our struggles and challenges, along with our wins. We're going to lay it all out on the table, and then we're going to go off to study. And this is where I'm going to provide light challenges. So all of September, I want to provide just light challenges because I know that in the beginning weeks of school, these teachers are stressed to the max. So, but at the same time, they have energy, right? So you're coming into the school year, they have all of this stress, but they also have energy. So this is a great time to just start introducing them to light challenges. Those light challenges could be, go try this week, see what happens, let us know, and then we'll all try out maybe something that you've come up with that works for you. And then, of course, I want to include check-ins on my calendar, so I'm checking in regularly. And then in October, we'll have our last face-to-face session. I will also provide a feedback survey. Okay, that's my first collaborative study. It can be overwhelming, but what I'm hoping that you gain from this is that it can be so efficient and it can be minimal and yet have maximum impact. Because what's happening is your teachers are collaborating together, you're facilitating that collaboration, you're teaching about that collaboration, and a multiplier effect is going on throughout your schools. Okay, that was a lot of information for planning your first collaborative study. My plan is done, but now I have to actually bring it to life. So here's what I'm going to be telling you about in the next session. We're going to talk about those face-to-face meetings that you have. I'm going to share with you what to do and what not to do so that your collaborative studies can be phenomenal, so that you can actually start building that culture of collaboration, so that you can start seeing collective efficacy in your school. If you want more information on collaborative studies and all the tools and resources that I have so far, feel free to go to my website. Remember, that is catchingupwithcasey.com. If you go to that site and you have a hard time finding things, hit me up. I am at several different locations. You can find me on that website, but you also can find me just by simply going to Catching Up with Casey on Facebook, Catch Up with Casey on Instagram, or Catch Up Casey on Twitter. Reach out to me. I'll answer your questions. We'll collaborate together. And I want to see what you make of your own collaborative studies. Okay, until then, I'll catch you on the flippity flip.